Agency was selecting celebrities for a new Diet Coke commercial. They considered not only the present, but also the past. By using some cutting-edge visual effects technology, they managed to have singer-dancer Paula Abdul interacting with Hollywood legends such as Cary Grant, Groucho Marx, and Gene Kelly.
And there's no mistaking it one.
Why don't you and me do some fancy stuffing tonight?
With that side of it, with that smile, yeah, one.
She's a beautiful dancer. Why, I used to call her Twinkle Toes.
Can you do this one?
Ooh, there's just one.
You're not so bad yourself.
One calorie, just one.
Some for you,
Thanks.
some for me.
Diet Coke.
It's fun, isn't it? Tony DeGregorio, the creative director at Lintas Advertising, originated the concept for the commercial. Good morning. It's one of the few things on TV that makes you say, how'd they do that? How'd they come up with that idea? How did you come up with that idea?
Well, we start right off the bat with the idea, and that is that there is just one Diet Coke, and then we look for ways to share that with the consumers that, in a way, they're not going to forget.
People who are just one, who are originals, right?
Exactly. There's just one Gene Kelly, just one Cary Grant, just one Paula Abdul, and obviously there's just one Groucho Marx.
This is a very expensive concept. How do you sell something like this when you can't really show the Coca-Cola company what you're trying to do? You just have to convince them that it's a great idea.
Exactly. You present this idea, and essentially it starts with a very good premise that there is just one drink like Diet Coke, and it was difficult to show them because it was never done before.
Did they go for it right away, or did they think,
no,
geez,
they
what is this guy talking
you
about?
have to have a certain kind of leap of faith there because you can't actually show them what it's going to look like. But today, if you can think it, you can do it.
You can do it. Well, let's talk about that. Also with us this morning is Robert Greenberg, president of the visual effects house that created this commercial. Good morning.
Morning.
You know, it's not a new idea in that we saw Gene Kelly dancing with a cartoon character more than 40 years ago, but not like this, not with this kind of polish. How do you go about creating a commercial like this? It's such a technological wonder.
Well, I think first of all you have to have a great idea, which the agency came to us with. The other is it's a real collaboration today, working with the director, Steve Horn, and the editor, Dennis Hayes, and a large group of people at our company, probably representing 20, 30 people, all working together.
How long does it take for that group of people to put this thing together, make it happen?
It's probably about 2 months.
Let's take a look at some videotape we have of this whole process, beginning with the technical process and then seeing how every element is added into all of this. What is this piece of machinery?
We're in a digital video suite in our studio, and we're working on an area which is called rotoscoping, which is pulling Gene Kelly from a archival shot and putting him into the new shot.
There he is.
There he is, and we're also inching him closer to Paula and dealing with him over time so that we can actually pace him properly and put them into what's called sync so that their steps match up. There's also a fairly complex camera that we developed that's shooting them so that it's a robotic camera, and it's moving exactly the same way that it did in the archival shot when it's shooting Paula, so that their motion is matched as well.
I'm just watching their feet and watching how perfect everything came together. Now, does she have to shoot this over and over and over again to make this match?
There's a lot of practice involved in matching it, and we're also dealing with the shadows and reflections and
trying to match
putting them
the
all
whole
together and make them look like they're all in the same scene.
Tony, there was a lot of research for that, wasn't there, to try to make these things look as real as they possibly could. And that's part of the trick. As you watch this commercial, you look at everything, the background, the people involved, and it all looks so perfect. How do you come about with that kind of research?
Well, you find the films that are going to be able to be integrated in a nightclub setting like this, and then we gave this film to Paula Abdul, who's an absolute perfectionist, and she lived with this Gene Kelly Anchors Away film for about a week and a half and actually danced to the original track of the movie and matched those steps for like about 2 weeks practice to get it.
You know, I told you I love this spot, but there have been people who've been critical, who've been saying, listen, you're using these legends, they should be left alone, some of this is colorized, etc., and you've despoiled them in some way. What's your response to that?
Well, I'll tell you, I know you like the spot, and so do millions of people. People love this spot. They look at it and they just like hit their foreheads and say, how did you do this? And they're fascinated by it. During the Olympics, this is true. People actually called Coca-Cola and wanted to know when it was going to be on again. And and right after the Olympics were over, their research showed that it was the most memorable of all those commercials that ran during the Olympics.
So you tell the critics, okay, maybe you don't like it, but it's popular?
I haven't spoken to any critics. I've been speaking to the people, and they love it.
And they like it. Tony, Richard, congratulations. It's really quite an achievement, a fun spot. Thanks for being here.
Great. Thank you for inviting us.
We'll be back right after this.
There is an evolution between the Elton John spot with Cagney and Bogart and Armstrong to this spot. And the evolution was basically, we wanted to keep the family feel of the icons appearing in a surprising way to consumers and yet be different.
Dance to us struck us as being the most exciting of the options we had because it had a lot of physical activity involved, and it was very different from, I mean, singing, with Elton John singing, that's one thing, but with Paula Abdul dancing, that's quite another.
I don't think in any way people were mistaken those commercials as being the same, but what they will get is the next Diet Coke spot. That is, I mean, I think in some ways it's even more surprising than the first.
That lamp has to come down, or that Tommy, do you hear that? Stands platforms in there. And this one, all the F apples.
This commercial is much more physical than the last commercial. Elton John was performing essentially at the piano, and we were cutting away to Humphrey Bogart entering the room and Jimmy Cagney speaking to someone else.
Well, I think that this is very different because of the interaction with the dancers and things. It has a whole different personality than the other one did.
In this commercial, by the very nature of Paula Abdul being a singer and a dancer, it gave us an opportunity to integrate Paula Abdul, the contemporary pop star, with the past legends. I would say much better.
The whole idea is there's just one, as there is just one Diet Coke. There's just one Kelly, just one Groucho, and just one Cary Grant. Paula's unique in that she's sort of continuing the tradition of dancing that Gene Kelly and people like that did. Not if you have the knees down. Come on, 5.
I like the graphic qualities of doing dancing and the movement of them.
Music, go again.
I've done a couple of other commercials now with Paula, and she's very easy to work with. She understands things very well, doesn't waste any time. We go right through it, as you've seen.
We have to get the magic that is in every one of these performers, just like that inner soul that you see coming out of Elton. We still have to have that same energy coming out of Paula, but there is a difference. Not only is Paula's, singing and projection, but she also has to be moving at the same. So we're talking about giving the same kind of performance with all this body movement, this dancing, exactly like something that happened many years ago. So that's much more challenging.
To have Paula dance in sync with Gene Kelly posed a lot of problems because they were singing, they were dancing, the cameras were moving. Everything had to be in perfect sync to the frame or it wouldn't have worked. So we went ahead and did about a month's worth of prep before we ever shot. In terms of the lighting and the shadowing, what we did was when we would shoot Paula, we would shoot reference of somebody standing in and doing the Gene Kelly part of the dance so that we can figure out where a real shadow would fall and how it would fall, how to pin Gene.
Basically what we do back here is we get all the elements that were shot on stage and we put them together and composite them to get a finished product. In the simplest possible terms, we first have to concentrate on isolating him, pulling him from his original background. Once we get the mat, the cutout, we then will run tests to see how it is. Once we have that settled, we put him into the scene, and then we have to concentrate on whether he'll need a shadow, trying to match the shadows of the existing people in the background. And then we have to look at his color, his lighting, and his motion, and usually some small adjustments we have to make. Once we do all that, we combine, it sounds easier than it is, we combine all those elements and have a finished product.
When Diet Coke first came to me with an idea and a storyboard to use Cary Grant and Groucho and Gene Kelly in this spot, I was so excited because they are extremely different icons that I truly love. And the thought of dancing with Gene Kelly and Groucho and being able to be in the scene with Cary Grant, who wouldn't love to be in a situation like that? These are heroes of mine.
Record and music.
With this commercial, everything is a matter of seconds, and I have to hit certain marks, like tape marks, because of the motion control camera or because of the icons I don't want to cross over. You have to work everything up. I love the Diet Coke spots that I've done. All three of them have been very diverse, and they've all given me an opportunity to dance. It represents what I'm about, and the commercials have allowed me, with the storyboards and the directors, allowed me the freedom to do what I love to do. It's been a great working relationship, and all these Diet Coke spots have been really great. All the people that I've worked with the company, it's just been a lot of fun. You know, they told me I'd be doing this spot, and I came in New York, and here we are. Growing up, the very first movie I ever remember watching was Singing in the Rain. So Gene Kelly has truly been, without a doubt, my biggest idol. I just absolutely adore him, and when I got an opportunity to meet him last year.
I saw her on TV, and she had done just a charming song and dance. And she dedicated it to me. Well, naturally, I was very flattered. So I telephoned her and thanked her.
She invited me over for a tea at his house.
So she said, when? And I said, when can you come by? And she said, how about tomorrow? So
I arrived at his house over about an hour earlier than I should, and I just sat in my car, and I was so nervous because this is the man I've modeled myself after. I absolutely adore him, and when I got a chance to meet him, it was as if we had known each other for the longest time.
We talked about dancing, just like two dancers, and we kept talking and talking.
I just expected him to start dancing.
Dance is a universal language. Words and a song are not. You can't dance in French or dance in Ugric or Finnish or Latin. You dance, and that's it. It's a visual medium.
When I am given the opportunity to just dance, I get lost in a great feeling, and I forget about everything that's going on around me.
It's the joy of movement. When I was a little kid, I liked to run. I run over hill and dale, to pardon the poesy here, and feel the wind in my face, and I like to jump.
I'm just in that moment, and there's nothing like it. It's just the best feeling.